Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Jeff. As a lover of indie games, I was ecstatic when I came across Nintendo's Nindie Showcase, a collection of games made by independent developers for the new Switch console. But sifting through the trailers, I started to wonder, are indie games stuck? Let me explain. The light versus dark dual level design of Flipping Death looks cool, but I can't help but be reminded of Disorder, another quirky platformer that also utilized two coexisting worlds to represent life and death. I was also taken with Mr. Shifty, Nintendo's crack at the top-down stealth shoot-'em-up genre. But when I look at it, it's just Hotline Miami with teleportation. Celeste might be a sweet, wonderful gem of a game, but platforming a cute 8-bit character over sharp objects is a box I already checked with Super Meat Boy. It's all ground I've already covered. The beauty of the indie game boom was how it responded to the predictability of the AAA landscape. AAA developers figured out the formula for what made their games successful, and thus they developed a pattern of putting out formulaic games. We know we're getting another Madden, another Call of Duty, another Assassin's Creed. We know we're gonna be running and jumping, ducking and covering, and shooting and exploding. They're still fun, but there's nothing fresh about them. Indie developers, however, adopted a more high-risk, high-reward philosophy. They threw caution to the wind and approached game design in new and unusual ways. They combined tried-and-true mechanics with unconventional, sensory-simulating imagery, crafting allegorical stories that didn't need to cater to the lowest common denominator. But the advent of the indie game success story entered the culture and led to more indie developers making their way into the spotlight. Suddenly, it was no longer in the cards for indie devs to take risks because now that they had become successful, they had something to lose. Those who were once dark horses realized the necessity to ditch their punk rock roots and double down on what they know works. This mentality led indie games to, ironically, follow the same formulas as the AAA games they were trying to distinguish themselves from in the first place. Remember though, it wasn't originality that made indie games special, it was that they were fresh. There's nothing inherently original about Super Meat Boy, Limbo, or Braid, but they possessed a certain charm, a freshness that set them apart from other platformers. Falling into patterns causes that charm to be lost, and that's when things become stale. Despite this plateau, success is a good thing for the indie scene. Your favorite indie devs get to keep making games because they can keep themselves afloat. It paves the way for a whole new crop of independent voices to shape their own unique games and make another cultural impact. Indie games being successful means more indie games. In turn, we also learn that stagnation is not just a AAA problem. Complain as we may about titles that look, sound, and feel the same, when you reach a certain echelon, taking risks is, well, riskier. It's possible for a punk rock attitude to get you to the top, but you can't be punk rock if you want to stay at the top. So answer me this, are you excited about this new wave of polished indies? And what do you think are the best real underground indies? Let's chat about it in the comments. You're watching esports on PvP Live.